Hello everyone. Today we're going to discuss yet another important essay. So make sure your notebooks are ready so that you can jot down the important points, you can take down the vocabularies. So all of this is going to be useful to you on the previous day of the examination where you can go through the various vocabularies and points. So let's begin. So this essay is about whether old buildings should be demolished and if new modern buildings should be constructed in its place. So let's go into the detailed discussion of this essay. So first let's read the essay question well. Some people think that too much money has been spent in looking after and repairing old buildings. So we should knock down old buildings and build modern ones instead. Do you agree or disagree with this? So we have to either agree or disagree with the point that a large sum of money has been spent on taking care or repairing or refurbishing these old buildings, and hence instead of wasting money on that, we should actually demolish all these old buildings and construct newer ones. Do you agree or disagree? So either we have to completely agree with it or we have to completely disagree. So in this essay, we're going to write an introduction paragraph. We're going to write 3 body paragraphs and we're going to write a conclusion. So the first 2 body paragraphs will be our view, which is either completely agree or completely disagree. And body 3 is going to be the refute paragraph. Refute means the opposite view. So if we have agreed here, we have to disagree here and vice versa. So before we brainstorm the points, let's first write some synonyms of the words that we are going to use frequently. So these are the various synonyms that I have written for repair. So instead of repair, we can write restore, renovate, refurbish, recondition, or mend it. So that I don't have to write the word repair all along in the essay. The next word that we will write the synonym of is knock down. So instead of knock down, we can write bulldoze it, demolish it, pull down the building, or you can write tear down the building, destroy it, or raze it. Raze it means completely destroy it. And instead of old building, we can write ancient building. So now let's go into the brainstorming of the points. So I have written certain bullet points for repairing old buildings. So why it is always better to repair old buildings? Because these old buildings reflect upon the heritage and the history of the particular place. Because if we demolish these buildings, then it is causing irreversible loss to the cultural heritage, which will impact the future generations because they will never get a glimpse of the rich culture or the past of that particular country. Moreover, old buildings, they reflect beautiful and intricate architectural styles, craftsmanship, which is no longer used in the modern buildings. Not only this, now what is happening in this globalized world? The uniqueness of the country is getting wiped out. So it is these old buildings that invoke a type of uniqueness and a sense of belonging to that particular place. But if all the old buildings are demolished and if only newer buildings come up, then there is not going to be any distinction between any country and all the countries are going to look similar. So they might face culture identity problem. Apart from this, there's a lot of environmental damage that happens when we demolish a building because landfills get filled up. It leads to a lot of carbon footprint. So it has a negative impact on the environment as well. And also, when there are old buildings in a particular place, it helps to generate tourism. And this tourism will in turn help to use the money in repair and restoration work. So it is imperative that old buildings are present. Now let's see why it is important to build modern buildings. So maintenance of old buildings is costly and a painstaking business, isn't it? Because there is a lot of maintenance that has to happen. Apart from that, in old buildings, there's a fear that it would collapse. So there is safety concern. We don't know how, like we would have to go and figure out how strong the foundation of the building is. Moreover, when we are constructing a new building, we can utilize the space effectively. Like, for example, we can have multi layer parking systems and so on, according to the present needs. Also, in older buildings, the wiring could be outdated and it might not be compliant with the modern safety features. So therefore, it is better to build modern buildings. Now, you can write either way. You can support building modern buildings, or you can support that we have to actually repair the old building. I have written an answer where I am supporting repairing old buildings because I am a history buff. I like culture, tradition. So that is why I have supported this. But there is no harm if you support build modern ones, but make sure you justify your points really well. Now let's go to the sample answer that I have written. Okay. Each year, a copious amount of money is spent on the restoration and refurbishment of ancient buildings. Now, have you seen what I have done here? From the question, I have written a sentence similar to it, but I have written better synonym. Copious amount is a large amount of money is spent on. So, instead of renovation, I have written restoration and refurbishment of ancient buildings. Instead of old, I have written ancient. Therefore, some people opine means have an opinion that instead of spending the time and energy on repairing works, these buildings ought to be demolished and new and modern buildings must be constructed. Ought means have to. I disagree with this statement as I believe that these old buildings uphold important parts of a community's identity and history. So I've written a small point on why I believe that these old buildings should not be demolished. Okay. Now I'm coming to my B1 where I'm going to write the paragraph supporting that the old building should be renovated but not demolished. There are umpteen reasons, umpteen means many, why old buildings should be preserved. Firstly, these buildings play an integral role in representing our rich cultural heritage and history. Now, if you know, people go to France, people go to Italy, people come to India. They come and have a glimpse of these old buildings, the old cathedrals, the old buildings, because it represents the rich cultural heritage and people want to get a glimpse and understand the various cultures of different nations. So if all the buildings look like modern ones, then people would not be interested to go to other countries and have a look at them. They can be physical reminders of significant historical periods and offer tangible connections to the past. Like, for example, the Colosseum in Rome. It is an old part of building, it is in a dilapidated form, but they're restoring it and they're making sure that they're preserving the rich history because that is a physical reminder of the historical period and it is offering a tangible connection to the past. Tangible means something that we can feel and touch. So, because of these buildings, we can stay connected to our past. If we raise down these ancient buildings, then we eradicate these valuable memories and the present generation will not be able to appreciate their roots or ancestral legacy. So most of us have ancestral homes, isn't it? So because of that, we can appreciate our roots. And if these are not present, then we might not feel connected to our legacy or our roots. Moreover, older buildings often incorporated intricate architectural designs, used robust material in their construction, and the design reflects the talented craftsmanship, and this charm is difficult to replicate in today's modern building. So if you see in the olden days, such beautiful intricate architectural designs they use, such beautiful carvings on the building you can see outside as well. Now the design language is very simple. There is nothing, no type of architectural design. Also, in the past, the materials that were used were really robust. So, the building foundation was actually very strong. So, all of that is absent in today's modern buildings. Also, because of rampant development, all the modern buildings look similar, and the uniqueness of every country is slowly waning away. Hence, in the future, if all countries look similar, then they can face identity crisis. Furthermore, majority of the tourists visit countries that have a rich cultural heritage, as they like to get a glimpse of the old architecture, the beautiful window designs, the ornate designs on the ceiling. Now, ornate is another word for intricate, and so on. Therefore, it offers the tourist a unique opportunity to revisit the past and experience a sense of wonder and inspiration. So, if we demolish such buildings, we would be snatching away their only tangible link to the previous era. Hence, the money generated through tourism can be used to preserve and improve these ancient buildings. So, see, because I am supporting restoring old buildings, I have made sure that I convince the invigilator that we have to restore the old buildings. Likewise, demolishing a building generates significant waste and contributes to a major part of the landfill. Hence, instead of adversely affecting the environment, we can greatly reduce the carbon footprint by repurposing these buildings for various uses, and all the while preserving the historical character. Now, instead of demolishing a very strong building, we should actually help to repurpose them so that we can reduce the carbon footprint and also prevent affecting the environment. So I have written enough and more points to support that we have to repurpose these buildings and renovate them. Now I am going to write one paragraph on why modern ones should be constructed in its place. On the other hand, there are people who suggest that it is better to construct newer buildings as the space can be judiciously and effectively used as per the modern requirement of multi-layer parking system, energy efficient design and installation. Not only this, the maintenance of old building is a painstaking business which incurs a lot of expense, isn't it? Some or the other form of maintenance always comes up, and all those expenses can be more, which can burn a hole in one's pocket. Now, burning a hole in one's pocket is an idiom, which means could be an expensive business. Moreover, there is also an inherent fear that lingers on how sturdy the foundation of the building is. So, if it's a really old building, people could be apprehensive about how strong the building is. Now, coming to our concluding paragraph. Thus, it can be concluded that as long as the old buildings are foundationally robust. Now, I am not supporting and saying that the building should be reconstructed even if it is in a dilapidated state. So, dilapidated means in a old condition which is not foundationally strong. So, what I'm supporting and saying this, if a building is in a state of ruin or neglect, then not to use it. But as long as the old building are foundationally robust, they should not be torn down as they foster. Foster is help in the development of a sense of belonging, keeps the cultural heritage alive. They are a repository. Repository means a place where it is stored. So it serves as a repository of unique architectural design and contains various stories within their walls. Hence, with respect to the above reasons and environmental impact, restoration should be considered above demolition. And we have completed the essay. So please take down points and also vocabulary. Go through all these essays before your examination so that if one of these questions appear in the exam, you can excel in it, you can write well, and you can score great marks. Thank you for supporting me. All the very best. Take good care of yourself. Thank you.